Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Today we are talking about my favorite game, Everdell. Follow the channel, you know that Everdell is mine and my wife's favorite game. 200 plus plays. We love Everdell. So a couple weeks back, I was given the chance to teach Everdell to new players. Honestly, the majority of my 200 plus plays has been with my wife and maybe a few other people. And so I had a chance to teach people Everdell who had never really seen the game. It was totally brand new. They'd never really heard of it. And so they were asking strategy tips. Do you have any pointers on how to play this game? And it got me thinking, and I was like, I don't know if I really do. And it made me think of my Far Shore review that I did with Nicole. Everdell Far Shore, I gave a 70% chance of meeples, 7 out of 10. There's just some things I didn't like about it. And Nicole was saying she thought it was an easier game to play than the base game Everdell. And I kind of disagreed because some of the mechanics of the windrows of the map tiles kind of forced you to play a certain way. And I thought that was a challenge for new players, or potentially a challenge for new players. And so here I am kind of retracting that as I'm looking at this Far Shore box. I'm retracting my saying that I think that Far Shore is a little bit easier to play than base game Everdell. I will say, yes, that is true. I'm not retracting my rating on the game. I still think Far Shore is a 7 out of 10. But teaching Everdell to new players, it can be overwhelming. You got everything. You got, the 8 cards in the meadow. You got the meadow. You got this tree. You have things. You got critters on the tree. You have events on the tree. You got different locations along the river to go to. You also have forest locations. And it's like, where to start? Where do I start if you're just playing Everdell for the first time? And so I figured, you know what? I'm gonna share 3. I thought about this for a while. I'm gonna share 3 tips to play Everdell. If you're just getting your feet wet in the game, 3 tips. So call them strategies, call them tips, call them whatever you want. I'm going to share 3 of them. And I won't say that these are 3 tips that'll help you win the game, but I think it'll be easier for you to get into the game. So I guess number 1, production. Start playing green production cards. Play as many as you can, as fast as you can. Before you move into spring, play as many as you can in that winter season. And I get it, you're probably only going to be able to play 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 cards in that first season. But play as many production cards as you can. I know I always tease my wife, Nicole, that the farm is A, her favorite card, and B, I say it's the biggest trap card because everybody sees the farm, 2 twigs, a resin, you build it, you get and bury. And I always joke around that it's the biggest trap card because it's actually not that good. Of course, you do get either the husband or the wife for free. And so there is validity in saying that it is actually pretty good and maybe better than I say it is. But playing the farm, it's not a bad opening move. It'll gain you 3 berries minimum throughout the game. And so it'll give you another way to build resources. Building the resin refinery, the mine, the storehouse. These are good cards to start building your city in Everdell. Of course, you have the barge and then the barge toad. Pretty much anything that'll gain you resources. This is a decent way that you can play the game and learn the game. Like I said, you may not win. Chances are you probably won't win because a lot of these green cards are lower value. But it'll be a direction because, like I said, when you have 8 cards in front of you, and depending on how many cards you have in your hand, you're like, I got all these cards. I don't know how they trigger. I don't know how they combo. What do I do? Build green production cards. So that's my first thing. My second thing is keep it basic. And what I mean by that is go after those basic events. You got the 4 basic events. You got the governance one for each of the 4 major card types, factions, I guess you could say. None for the prosperity unless you're getting into some of the other expansions. But go for those basic events. Build 3 tan travelers and gain that event. You don't need to know how exactly or when exactly the bard is the best time to play, or when's the wander, the best time to play. You don't need to necessarily know those things, but you build those cards and you gain those basic events. Of course, if you're doing production, 4 production cards, gain that event. Stick to those. Don't worry about the special events because you may never see some of those cards. And I know that's the biggest detriment to some people. You got these special events that you need 2 specific cards. You need the queen and you need the judge. You need the postal pigeon, you need the doctor. You need the monk, you need the dungeon. And you may not see either one of those, let alone both of them. I get that. But there are other ways to score in the game of Everdell. Keep it basic. Build your 3 blue cards. Gain that event. Of course, if everybody's doing that, you're going to have to watch what your opponents are doing. But do that. And then when you get to autumn, first move, go discard 5 cards on the journey. That's just straight 5 victory points. It's almost the same as any of the special events and you don't have to look for those cards. Basic events and the journey. That's my second one. Keep it basic. My third one, and don't feel like I'm going to dupe you here, but this is legitimately my number one thing that I tell people when they play Everdell. And I actually sent a message to James and I was like, hey, James, I'm teaching Everdell new people. What would you say is a thing to tell them? And he actually said the exact same thing I'm going to say. I said it first. I really did. But have fun and explore. That's the thing. Have fun and see how the game is built. Play cards that you may think are like just the weirdest cards and see how they interact. Find those, little niche combos and play that out. I said do a production as a good one. Flip that on its head. Don't play any green cards. I've won that way. It's been done other way by other players. You can win Everdell by not playing a single green card and just explore. I think for me, that's what I love about Everdell the most. I love the game. I love the artwork, the components, all that stuff. I love exploring every time I play this game. I think there's this one time I played the game and I built the Evertree, and I think I was maybe in summer. I was playing with one of the player powers. I don't remember which one it was. I had a ton of resources. I had a crane. I was able to build the Evertree. And then I ruined it to gain all those resources back. And you'd say, why would you do that? And you know what? I just did it because I had something else in my hand. I don't know what it was, what cards I had. But I ruined my Evertree to gain all those resources back and virtually get rid of the Evertree, which in the base game, it's the highest point value card. And I got rid of it, and I just played, and I had fun, and I explored. And so that's my number one strategy. Not really a strategy because you may not win that way. But when you play the game, just have fun and see how the design is actually able to work. And try some like crazy combos. Nicole and I have done top 10 Everdell cards. We've done revised lists. So if you want to see my favorite cards, I guess those would be like in-depth, more strategy tips. If you want to see what we think are like maybe the weakest cards or the lowest ranked cards, we did a video to that. We've done so much Everdell content and we just love the game and I love talking about it. And so check out the description of this video. You can find the playlist to all of our Everdell content. But my number one way to play Everdell, my tip for you is to explore and have fun. Try new things and see what works. So there you have it. 3 tips, strategies on Everdell. My name is Brent. Check us out on Facebook, Cloudy the Chance of Meeples. Till next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with the Chance of Meeples.